Hello there, good evening indeed, and many thanks for joining us this evening on Rwanda Television News. This is what makes our top stories tonight. Rwanda and Uganda have decided to pursue their shared goals together in an effort to get them to be implemented. It's only a matter of hours before hundreds of Rwandans and foreigners gather for the gorilla naming ceremony to name 20 baby gorillas. We are very glad to have your company tonight, joining you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Sam Kadisa, and as we kick it off onto our top story tonight, Rwanda and Uganda have decided to pursue their shared goals together in an effort to get them to be implemented. They also aim at sharing a common opinion regarding their mutual regional objectives, as was embarked by Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Vincent Biruta, and Uganda's Minister of Foreign Affairs, General Odongo Jeje Abubakar. Precious Chirezi kicks us off tonight with this report.
The discussions that convened the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Vincent Biruta, and Uganda's Minister of Foreign Affairs, General Odongo Jeje, were aimed at deciphering the politics and diplomacy of both countries. Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Vincent Biruta, has shed light on the stellar good relations between Rwanda and Uganda and pointed out that both countries intend to establish a permanent commission to maintain this consistency.
Tukaba twaganiriye rero kubirebana n'umubano hagati y'ibihugu byacu byombi, umubano umeze neza ubu ngubu.
Our relationship is on good terms, despite our tainted past, and among the most important things we discussed was the establishment of a joint permanent commission meeting annually in March. During the visit, we also discussed the relations between the two countries, the challenges the region is experiencing, as well as the security issues faced by the East African community and the region at large.
Uganda's Minister of Foreign Affairs, General Odongo Jeje, has made emphasis on the camaraderie engraved in Rwanda's relationship with Uganda, which is validated by the long history shared by both countries.
The relations between Rwanda and Uganda are not relations between countries. These are relations between the same people. We have blood relations, we have historical relations, and therefore we should build on that to carry us forward to make sure we have beneficial relations between our peoples.
Emphasis has been made on how necessary it is to make up for lost time.
The reason why we are doing this is because we think we need to catch up on lost time. And we want to translate what we are discussing, the momentum that our principles have set, into benefits to the people of Rwanda and the people of Uganda. We also discussed regional matters, and we have agreed that we need to be able to speak with one voice in as far as regional matters, particularly security, is concerned.
Both ministers also indulged in discussions about the region's security, business equity, and the mutual goals they intend to achieve on a regional level.
Together, Rwanda and Uganda should now focus on those activities that will bring benefit to our people in Rwanda and Uganda, but also to the region. It is important that the region hears our collective voice. His Excellency did give an example of those integration projects that we need to speak to and ensure they are implemented. For example, we do have the standard gauge railway, which has stood in abeyance. We have the power projects, which have stood in abeyance, and we would like to continue with this in haste so that, as I mentioned from the beginning, the people of Rwanda and the people of Uganda recognize, see the benefits of the new momentum that our principles have established.
During the meeting, both ministers commended the role the heads of state have played in mending the relations of both countries, stating President Paul Kagame's visit to Uganda and President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's attendance of the CHOGM summit held in Rwanda as valid examples. Uganda's Minister of Foreign Affairs also visited the genocide memorial site in Gisozi, where the history of division among Rwanda's leaders leading up to the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi was relayed to him. His two-day visit to Rwanda was concluded this evening. Precious Chirezi, RTV News.
Thank you, Precious. To other matters now. On Thursday, First Lady Jeannette Kagame presided over the inauguration of EZA Urugwiro Early Childhood Development Center located in Village Urugwiro. The inauguration was also attended by the Minister in the Office of the President, Judith Uwizeye. The ECD was established in 2021 in collaboration with different institutions, including the Office of the President, the Imbuto Foundation, and the Unity Club. The center provides services to those employed in Village Urugwiro, where these institutions work from. On Thursday, the first cohort of 17 children who graduated from the ECD and will be joining their nursery school in the next academic year. The center receives children aged between 3 months to 3 years old to have their cognitive and social skills stimulated under protective educational care of trained caregivers. To the main matter of these days, which is none other than Kwitizina 2022. It's only a matter of hours before hundreds of Rwandans and foreigners gather for the gorilla naming ceremony, where 20 baby gorillas will be named. RBS team is currently camping in Volcanoes National Park, where gorillas live. And in this particular report, we'll get a sneak peek on the 18th edition of Kwitizina with Jen Mutoni.
National Park, located in northwest Rwanda, is also home to other wild animals. In addition to being home to the world's last mountain gorillas, it was first recognized in 1925. At that time, it was a small area between the volcanoes of Kalisimbi, Bisoke, and Mikeno, which is considered as the first national park established in Africa. Due to these mountain gorillas, the park has attracted tourists from across the world. This Friday, on 1st September 2022, the gorilla naming ceremony will take place as 20 baby gorillas will be given names. These baby gorillas are those that were born in the last 12 months. From the first baby gorilla naming ceremony that took place in 2005, 354 baby gorillas have been named. The history of mountain gorillas begins in 1902 when the German captain Friedrich Robert von arrived in the Volcanoes National Park and saw an unknown animal that surprised him and shot it, sending some of its parts to Berlin, Germany, where experts confirmed that it's a gorilla. Since then, researchers have come back to this park. So in 1967, an American environmental researcher, Diane Fossey, known in Rwanda as Nyiramachibiri, also started researching on the gorillas. Scientists showed that gorillas are related to humans at the level of 98%. Mountain gorillas have increased by 26% from 480 in 2010 to 604. While these gorillas attract many tourists, the country earns and the population is reached by development. In 2019, the Volcanoes National Park generated about 22 billion Rwandan francs. In that year, Rwanda received 1.63 million tourists, hence the country earning $498 million, of which gorilla tourism earned $107 million. Since 2005, residents residing near the Volcanoes National Park received approximately 3 billion Rwandan francs in support through projects including schools, clinics, and so forth.
We thank the government for these projects and the development, because people now live in well-furnished houses. As before, we lived in grass houses, known as nyakatsi. We thank our president for the infrastructure, as our children now go to schools that are near us, as well as hospitals. Before, we used to carry patients on makeshift stretchers, including pregnant women on labor, and the journey would take hours, which would risk to them falling.
In the last 16 years, at least 6.5 billion Rwandan francs has been invested in 780 projects that benefit the people residing near the parks across the country. Jane Mutoni, RTV News.
Thank you, Jen. And still on this particular matter, 18th edition of Kwitizina ceremony. Now on the particular event, Rwanda's premier tourism event preparations are in full swing. But what is it and how does the biggest conservation event of this year actually look like? Isabel Masozera is on the site and she brought us this report.
Guests from all over the world are descending on Rwanda's capital, Kigali, to make their way to Musanze in the northern province, where the baby naming gorilla ceremony has been hosted every first Friday of September annually since 2005. Here is what you can expect at Kwitizina 2022. You are not going to see any real gorillas at the event. It is better we deal with this misconception first. Instead, you will get a list of the little baby gorillas that are born that year. And special guests, carefully selected by Rwanda Development Board, will have the honor of naming the gorillas at the event. Each of the namers will take stage to explain their choice. The event always happens at the same time and the same place. You can plan for it every year. The setting is Kinyiji, the headquarters of Volcanoes National Park, not far away from Musanze town, and it happens during the morning hours. Kwitizina is a free event. You can register for it online, and it is no different for 2022. The event is massive. It is an excellent idea for you to be at the venue by 8 a.m. The best parking places and the best places for you to sit will be up for grabs. You can enjoy the entertainers that come early. You can meet lovely people and enjoy the informal side of Kwitizina. Tens of thousands of people will join you later. But if you're curious, you could come a day before and catch the rehearsals as the acts sharpen their craft. There are a number of speeches in addition to the famous singers and performers. To top that up, the traditional dancing groups. Kwitizina is a multi-hour event. You will be in the tent to help shelter you from the rain or even the sun. Gorilla names are not just a cliche. It is a practical thing. After decades of conservation efforts, the number of mountain gorillas on the planet has increased. But that still calls for extreme attention to each and every gorilla. And for that, there are specialized gorilla doctors taking care of their health. And at the event, you just might run into one of them. Finally, September is a rainy season, so make sure to dress appropriately. Expect the occasional drizzling or even a downpour. Wear warm shoes and warm clothes. Isabel Masozera, RTV News.
Thank you very much, Isabel Masozera, and see you tomorrow at the 18th edition of Kwitizina 2022. And moving ahead to matters related to agriculture now. Cassava, soya, and beans were added by the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources in the insurance scheme of crops and domestic animals initiated to secure farmers from disasters. The scheme has so far cost 3 billion Rwandan francs. Prince Manzi with the report.
In different parts of the country, farmers say that disasters are a major issue to their cultivation as it leads to an inefficient production.
The common disasters we face are from floods from Rugiro, Nyambwe, and Ruga. We're also facing a long sunny season. When the climate is not good, it affects our production very negatively.
In the past couple of days, there are farmers who, thanks to the insurance scheme, didn't fall into losses in time of disasters.
The main challenge the farmers met in this insurance scheme, the challenge of delay in the payment, but also the delay in paying the losses. And the loss assessors, sometimes they may delay to estimate their loss, to know the real amount to be compensated. So the impact of this delay may lead to the dramatic loss to farmers, to both directly and to reduce their profits, long-term profits. To farmers, we recommend the farmers to early plant their crops, to make closer follow-up to their livestock so that they can timely report the cases once they happen.
You are going to pay us before we reap. This will make us good partners, and we work together in the assurance scheme. In the retreat of those in charge of agriculture and animal resources management at the district levels, they were analyzing the impact of the Kanuri Shingiwe insurance scheme, the challenges in it, and how it can be improved and reach many other farmers. 5 local insurance companies are the ones collaborating with the farmers in this program. Some of the leaders of these companies say that failure to complete some documents by the farmers is one of the reasons they are paid late. Normally, the contract demonstrates that the livestock farmer who faced a disaster is paid in 7 days and the cultivator is paid in 15 days. And what is needed is for the case to be submitted to the insurance company in the given time, and then he or she is replied if they will be compensated or not because of carelessness or other reasons indicated in the contract as non-compensatable. The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources noted that in the coming cultivation season, there is a possibility of disasters resulting from heavy rainfall. The Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources urged farmers to participate at large in this insurance scheme.
The rate of those participating in this scheme increased, and it's a good thing. The government subsides 40% in this program, so farmers should profit. Cultivators of rice, corn, and other crops when they face disasters, and it prevents them from loss. In these past days, there was a disease affecting cows. A livestock farmer who was already in the assurance scheme was compensated.
The Tekanuri Shingiwe Assurance Scheme started in 2019, and since then, 61,000 hectares of land have been assured. Over 400 farmers are in this program. The government subsidizes 40% and the farmer provides 60%. Prince Manzi, RTV News.
Some of the young people say that their technology projects and activities are developing faster, owing it to working from Norskin, where they get more opportunities to meet entrepreneurs working in different other institutions. Adam Squizera has this report.
After long-term living in the United States of America, 25-year-old Pipita Wineza says she came back to add her role in developing the technology sector in line with what she studied.
Me coming from the United States, moving to here, I was really worried in terms of finding employment that really meant something for me. In the old school I used to go to, École Belge. So I was like, wait, what? What's going on? And then two, because I worked in tech in DC prior to coming back to Rwanda, and I was really interested to see what goes on in a tech hub within the African context.
Pipita Wineza, like other young people who are engaged to technology, health, business and tourism, says the establishment of Norskin in December last year provided them opportunities as it also expanded their ideas and activities related to technology.
I think since we've joined in January, we've been, very blessed to have great team members join the team. We've had, great interactions with potential investors, and also it is a great place for mentorship, for young people to be able to grow in their careers. So Norskin has been a great place for Pesa Choice to be at, and also for myself. So I mentioned I do expansion for Pesa Choice. We met a lot of our expansion partners here at Norskin. One client just walked in and was like, hey, we really would love this for Ivory Coast. And we're like, well, sure as heck, let's hop on a plane and go to Ivory Coast, right? So it's been, the opportunity for expansion. For me, I did international business in college, so this is something I've always been passionate about, is business cross-culturally. The second part really is the team, right? We have a very young team. The median age at Pesa Choice is 27 years old, and that's because our CEO is in his 40s. If you remove him, we're like 25. So it's been a great great place for the team, because the team is very, it's a very open team, very young team, very dynamic team, and we're able to just, express ourselves through our...
First, it's connections, because here at Norskin, there are many companies, many startups, many organizations that works from different countries and different sectors. So that connections and thinking big, not at the national level but at the international levels, all those helps us to even improve the products that we prepare for our customers.
It's a very conducive environment. I came here to connect with people. I came here to have access to very good internet. I came here to learn, because we have lunch and learn every time, even today. But also I came here because of infrastructures. We have a very good internet. We have good building. We have good furniture. Internet is very fast, and the lighting, whatever. Like what you need as an entrepreneur who is working most, especially in technology, is that kind of environment where every infrastructure that help you to operate is.
The administration of Norskin says that the institution was established with the purpose of helping startup entrepreneurs to contribute their role to the development of the world. The managing director of Norskin, Morasira Pascal, noted that their objective is to facilitate these young people engaged in technology activities to get tangible resources to run their activities.
People in this country, not only in Rwanda but also even the region, across the continent, with very brilliant innovations and very brilliant ideas. But what they lack is resources, mostly capital. So they need money, they need investments. So the overall idea of what we provide here is an opportunity, or is a space for these young innovators to meet the people that can invest in their businesses. And that's why we started building this, and we're very strategically located in the city center, so that we can ease access to those entrepreneurs, but also those partners that want to be able to invest in them.
On Thursday, Norskin inaugurated the second phase of its buildings. This will add on the capacity up to 1,000 people from 318 that the hub was able to accommodate. The entire project is worth of $20 million. The coordinator of the National Youth Council, Alodi Iradukunda, pointed out that this space was inaugurated will highly benefit the youth as to their impact to the development of the country as a whole.
I think as youth, we benefit a lot from spaces like this, because it's an opportunity for us to for the youth who have ideas, business ideas, to develop them in terms of financial support, but also in terms of ideation process, because not only do you have the opportunity to get matched with investors, but you also get the opportunity to meet with your peers, understand their issues and understand their challenges, so that you don't have to repeat the same sort of mistakes as well. So as a country, we actually get somewhere that we want to get.
All these buildings were constructed under environment conservation regulations, where over 90% of electricity used in this hub is from solar energy. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Environment experts are pleased that Rwanda and Norway have been chosen by the United Nations to lead a global campaign to assist in achieving its objective of ending air pollution caused by plastic materials by 2040. Nuria Tagasaro reports.
EnviroServe buys all technology equipment and recycles them. It has now begun to collect plastic materials scattered around the country in order to see how they can be put together without polluting the environment. Its director, Olivier Mbera, says their goal is to collect 200 tons of plastics per month, which will provide employment to many people, while also reducing air pollution caused by those materials.
We started receiving plastic last month and received about 6 tons so far. As you can see, they were very dirty. It seems that these plastics were in dump sites and other places that can affect the environment. Our goal is to collect 200 tons of plastics per month. We are still far from our goal, but people will benefit in different ways, both financially and for protection of environment.
In 2008, Rwanda made a decision to stop the use of bags and single-use plastic items so that by 2020 they will no longer be allowed except for medical equipment, plastic packaging for vaccines, hotels, and other special cases. Many of those who have been using plastic materials says they are now looking for replacements. Most of our orders had no plastic because some comes in the cartons that we brought. Then we leave them at the yard and pick them up without plastic bags. As made in Rwanda traders, we are looking for solution very quickly. We have good bags that we cover for our customers, and the majority of our orders are packed in an envelope that we wrote at any time. What we sell arrive packaged in the envelopes. In order to reduce using plastic bags, we gave our clients with lovely bags. The decision was made at the 5th General Assembly of the United Nations Environmental Assembly that took place from Nairobi, Kenya in August this year. Rwanda and Norway were chosen to lead the global campaign in reducing air pollution caused by plastic materials. Dr. Abias Maniragaba, an environmental expert and who is a professor at the university, says that it is an honor for Rwanda to cooperate with developed countries like Norway to overcome this climate crisis because of the progress it has made in preserving the environment.
Having the decision of taking Rwanda as the model to ban the use of plastic bag, it is not too interesting or it is not surprising because Rwanda has taken the step ahead to ban the use of plastic bag among the first countries. I remember Kenya has adopted the law enforcing the ban of plastic bag, but the implementation was failed. They were surprised by having the country like Rwanda to implement successfully the country. And you know, all over the country they know, before coming in Rwanda, they ask you if you have a plastic bag or anything related to polythene bag. And they say, please leave it here before entering Rwanda. This is another success that we can be proud of. And taking Rwanda as a developing country and Norway as a developed country.
Initially, 20 countries pledged to join Rwanda and Norway in achieving this goal by 2040. Some of those are Peru, Finland, Malawi, Zambia, Fiji, Chile, Kenya, Ecuador, Uruguay, Sweden, Switzerland, Georgia, Republic of Korea, United Kingdom, Germany, Portugal, Denmark, Senegal, Costa Rica, Iceland, and France. Nuriat Agasaro, RwandaTV News.
On Thursday, the Sustainable Development Goals Center for Africa and GAIA Education have signed a memorandum of understanding to establish a cooperation framework to strengthen collaboration in Africa's development priority areas of mutual interest to accelerate achievements of SDGs Agenda 2030. This MOU entails various activities, including working together with various institutions and associations in combating climate change and other various projects. Caroline Makasa, the Acting Director General of Sustainable Development Goals Center for Africa, noted that this MOU will greatly support the goals they have in education sector.
Comes with experience that the center needs, the experience of being able to craft modules, the expertise of having that educational background on education, and the specialization of developing modules that Africa actually needs. But also Africa needs more online courses that can be easily accessible, that are also affordable, and that mass education on climate change can actually be created, because we are really going through a phenomenon that many of our citizens, millions of citizens on the African continent, that are not really aware of. So the whole idea is really aimed at creating courses that are accessible to tertiary institutions across Africa, and perhaps others also, adult education, those who want to go back and also maybe refresh their memory or learn and see what they can actually be able to do in combating climate change.
The co-chief executive of GAIA Education, Sally Bogale, noted that they look forward to work with the Sustainable Development Goals Center for Africa in enhancing education.
To work together primarily for the moment under SDG 4.7, which is about bringing sustainability education to the heart of learning. And in our partnership, we're focusing at the moment on higher education. We would like to produce simple, short online courses for university students across the continent, which hook them up to all the incredible initiatives that are going on the ground across Africa. The youth of Africa have an incredible capacity to lead the world in transitioning to sustainable and even to regenerative lifestyles. And we would like to empower them and support them with the skills and understanding as much as possible, along with our partners who are dedicated to that work.
We'll switch it to justice matters now. The issue of people winning cases and the implementation of court decisions remains a problem that continues to be hard all over the country. Court bailiffs say that this is often due to a number of reasons, including the failure to have enough assets to pay. Innocent Mugabo brings us the report.
Rujugiro Emmanuel, a resident of Nyamirambo sector since 2008, has been suing the case against him for seizing and impounding a car. A case that ended after going through 3 courts and all coming out defeated, and later decided to appeal, a process that also took 11 years. Later, the court concluded that the defendant was defeated and was ordered to pay 600,000 Rwanda francs in damages. Since 2019, Rujugiro has appealed to a court bailiff to help him acquire his property, but it's now 4 years and nothing has been done. I won both in the High Court of Nyamirambo and the Supreme Court. He went to a prosecutor and asked them to reconsider the case, who also sent us back to the Court of Appeal. In his absence, I again won, and he was ordered to pay me 600,000 Rwanda francs in damages. I appealed to the court bailiff, who went there, and they talked, but all in vain. My worry is that they might have bribed the court bailiff. Non-implementation of court decisions is a problem that is seen all over the country, causing people to make countless visits to the courts. We bought a farmland from a court bailiff named Anselm. When we started using it, people came and claimed its ownership, saying that Anselm stole the property. We tried reporting him to the district and his fellow court bailiffs, but all in vain. We are asking that you advocate for us to get justice. On the other hand, there are those who are ordered to pay compensation by the courts and agree to pay it, but the court bailiffs charge it under compulsion, reaching to an extent of even auctioning their property. My property worth 20 million Rwanda francs was auctioned off at a price of 9.5 million Rwanda francs just because of a 1.6 million loan. Yet I did not refuse to pay till to this date for my house not to be auctioned. The head of bailiffs in Rwanda, Munyaneza Valerie, says that the delay in implementing court decisions may be due to the fact that the loser might have no property and other reasons. What we do is that if things are in line, we ensure that they are implemented right and quickly. If not, the person be punished. And remember that the property owner is allowed to dispute the values. During President Kagame's citizen outreach in Nyamagabe district, among the problems addressed to him included that to do with people who won a court case against an entrepreneur due to failure to pay them, but the court's decision failed to be implemented. We worked, but till now, where did you report? We took it to the courts to solve it, and they ordered him to pay us, but he refused. If it went to the court, and they made their decision, then it should be respected. If not, that is when other authorities intervene. The court ruled that the contractor must pay us 75 million. He didn't respect it. He didn't. Where is he? He is in Kigali. If the court decisions are not respected, what comes next?
Your Excellency,
we use force for them to be implemented. Then why haven't it been used? The victim needs to go and report to the authorities to be able to put the entrepreneur where he belongs. Nabahire Anastas, the Director General of Justice Sector Coordination in the Ministry of Justice, notes that sometimes the failure to complete these cases is due to illiteracy when it comes to laws and negligence of some court bailiffs, since they also have a lot of work. There are times we find that a court bailiff is dealing with a case that involves either a relative or a friend, but we always advise them to express it and leave the case to someone else. It is also possible that there is negligence among the professional and non-professional court bailiffs and public servants, where we find that they do not respond to the problems of the people as needed. Corruption might also be there. Among these cases include those ruled by Gacaca courts, whose decisions have been implemented at a rate above 95%, including those to do with immovable property. An integrated electronic case management system is currently being used to receive cases and identify pending cases. Innocent Mugabo, RTV News.
And the report sums up tonight's edition, and on behalf of the entire news production team that made it happen, and myself, many thanks for being with us on this particular edition of Rwanda Television News. Up until next time, stay safe and have a good evening. The rest of our programs continues. Goodbye.